you doing there, folks? Baters here with another video for you all. Today we're going to look at the theory of whether or not John Marston killed Arthur Morgan, and why this theory is possible in Red Dead Redemption 2. Remember, this is just a theory, so hold on to your ball bags and relax. We don't know any spoilers. We're just spitballing here, okay? Remember, if you like this video, to squish down awkwardly on that like button, because every time someone likes this video, one less Teletubby haunts me while I sleep, okay? That's important. Now go ahead and wear a paper bag like skinny jeans, and let's get to average baiting, baby! To know whether or not this theory is possible in Red Dead Redemption 2, we need to look at its predecessor, Red Dead Redemption. Now, Red Dead Redemption was set in the Old West, right on the precipice of the Industrial Revolution, where the Western lifestyle was dying off and being replaced with a more modern one. Now, John Marston, the main character or protagonist of Red Dead Redemption, was an old-world gunfighter and gang member who was once a part of the notorious gang that fought innovation and change and believed that the world was better off in a state of savage utopia. John eventually left the gang and years later was forced by the US government to hunt down his old brothers in arms, aka his old gang members, and bring them to justice. John is a moral character who fights with his past and hopes to prove that his old life of nefarious deeds is no longer a part of who he is anymore. Hence the name Red Dead Redemption. It's the story of John's journey to redeem himself. John hopes to change his life and eventually live a quiet, happy life on a small farm with his family, his wife Abigail, and his son Jack. However, there are still many questions left unanswered at the end of Red Dead Redemption in regards to John and his old gang. For instance, why would he only leave his gang, but be okay with hunting them down one by one? Now, one could argue that this was because he was forced by the FIB, because they used the prosecution of his family against him. But even still, that answer seems lacking. Now, John Marston's character is not easily swayed, and without internal motives, I doubt law enforcement could even threaten his cooperation. At times, it feels like John is working with the FIB, not out of coercion, but rather as a means to an end. Like maybe he feels he can kill two birds with one stone. Get back at the people who betrayed him, and clear his name in the process. That seems like a much more likely motivation for an intellectual and logical person like John. Also, with the introduction of Red Dead Redemption 2, we have even more enlightening questions, like why didn't John ever mention Arthur Morgan, the lead enforcer of the Van der Linde gang, a gang that he once called his family? Furthermore, why doesn't John hunt down Arthur like the rest of the gang? A prominent member like himself, you would think that he would be important. Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, and is set during John's younger days when he's still a member of the Van der Linde gang. It follows the story of Arthur Morgan, the lead enforcer and a very prominent figure in the Van der Linde gang. Dutch's right-hand man, if you will. So why, if John was hunting down old members of his gang in Red Dead Redemption, would he include members like Javier, Bill Williamson, and even the main man, Dutch himself, but leave out our boy Arthur? Well, I have a theory about this, so hold on to your nipples because I'm about to blow your fucking minds. I think the reason that John never mentions Arthur Morgan is because he already killed Arthur Morgan the day he left the gang. Now hear me out on this. I have supporting arguments, okay? Before you start freaking out, hear me out. I have some supporting arguments. Let's just look at what we know so far. We know that John was shot during a botched robbery in 1906, and he was left for dead, and it was after that that he decided to leave the gang. But it doesn't say who shot him, or why the gang that once considered him family was so quick to bail on good old John. I mean, Dutch's gang once thought of themselves as the good guys, basically the Robin Hood of their generation, and Dutch himself thought of John as a son. So why the sudden change of heart? Doesn't seem very neighborly to leave John there eating shit, bleeding all over himself, while they make a hasty exit, does it? We also know that Dutch's gang robbed over 40 banks. They were not the types of fellas to panic and run. Now, even if they did panic, they managed to only leave John behind? That doesn't sound very logical. If they were in such a hurry, you would think multiple members of their gang would have had to come to their end during that robbery, but that wasn't the case. John is the only one mentioned to have been left behind during the robbery, and when confronting his old gang members, they themselves look at the incident as a betrayal and not an accident. Well, I have a fucking theory what happened that fateful day in 1906. Now, I think that prior to the robbery, John was actually in love with Abigail. I mean, that's not too far-fetched. And that he was already starting a family with her, which again isn't far-fetched because our boy Jack was already born at that point. And he began to become introspective of his life and his precarious occupation. A rational guy like John might have thought, maybe robbing banks isn't the best way to contribute to my 401k. It doesn't really seem like there's a bright future for bank robbers, seeing as how they get hanged and all. So John, being the logical guy, he asked to leave the gang so that he can start a real life with his wife Abigail and their infant son Jack. However, this comes near the end of the Vanderlyn gang when Dutch is being cornered by the feds and is feeling a little fucking crazy. Dutch, although he might seem like a calm, cool, collective guy, would likely view John's wanting to leave as a type of betrayal, like he was abandoning him when things got tough. Gangs aren't really known for just letting people in and out all willy-nilly now, are they? Gangs tend to be the more full send kind of deal, you know? You feel me, fam? But Dutch, being a classy guy, gives John an out. Well, not a real out, but an illusion of goodwill. He tells John to stick with him for one final score, and if he helps them with that, then he can go for good. However, Dutch tells Arthur Morgan, his lead enforcer, that John is never to leave that bank alive. Seems like the type of job you would give your lead enforcer, right? Then, during the robbery, John and Arthur are left to finish up while the rest of the gang members make their escape. It's during this time that John is shot by Arthur, but he fucks it up. He doesn't kill him, and John is able to fight back. So he retaliates and kills Arthur Morgan. Arthur dies during the heist, and John just barely escapes with his life, feeling completely and utterly betrayed by his former gang. This would support why John doesn't mention Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption, because he knows that he killed him. This would also be why Dutch's gang wasn't able to finish the job, because they had already left by the time Arthur and John started shooting at one another. This would be an incredibly good motive for John to now hate his old gang, and it would give him the moral leeway necessary to hunt them down, knowing that they all knew they would be coming home without him. Now, Arthur and John were like brothers, and although he would have felt betrayed by Arthur, I think being responsible for his death would have caused him some grief as well, to the point where he would avoid talking about him for a whole fucking game. However, this is just a theory based on the limited info I have so far. It could be totally wrong, but if it isn't, I'm gonna look like a fucking genius. Like a fucking genius, people! John killing Arthur is a great way to entangle the two stories in a way that wouldn't hurt Red Dead Redemption. Now, if this isn't how they explain Arthur's absence from the original Red Dead Redemption, then I would still be very interested in seeing how the fuck nobody mentioned him in the original Red Dead game. Now, again, this is just a theory, guys, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any theories of your own, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smush down on that subscribe button and come back for more fun next time. And always remember to keep on average baiting, baby!